Do you get frustrated when you try to study? When you're reading, do you sometimes literally forget what you just read? Do you sometimes spend 6 hours, 7 hours, spending all day and night cramming for something just to not remember anything? It is a frustrating feeling because you put all that time into just trying to learn, and at the end of the day, you almost feel like a failure. You're like, why? I just want to know why King Henry ate so much food, why math makes sense. Well, over the years, it's been a process. It wasn't until I was prepping for the GMAT for business school, I really started to understand how to effectively study. And now in business school, I feel like I've cracked the code. Hi, my name's Justin, and this is JWood Strategy. Today, I plan to provide you a strategy to study better and relieve those frustrations you have. I actually like studying. I know a lot of people are like, ugh, you like studying? Who are you? No one likes studying. You gotta think about it in a different way. It's not really studying, it's learning. And you're learning all the time. You know, before I did this whole YouTube thing, which I've wanted to do for years, I did a lot of research, a lot of quick videos, a lot of tutorials, and I've gained a lot of information in what I do. That's kind of like studying. I was retaining information. I was going over it in different ways to help how I can make this channel for better or for worse. So personally, I like it. Maybe it's because this framework I'm about to give to you will help you enjoy studying as well. And you know, studying should be fun because knowledge is power. You've heard that before, and it's true. The more knowledge you have, the more the world will open up to you. All right, well now let's get into the framework. Think of this framework as a circle, and the circle has 3 layers. There's one at the core, and it expands out into 2 outer layers. Now, why is there 3 layers? You have to build upon it and it will actually expand out. There is no just magic strategy to just boom, you can study and everything will be solved. It does take time and in preparation, and once you get used to the framework, it will do wonders in your learning process, I promise. So I am going to go to these 3 layers in 3 different steps. And those steps, I'm going to start with the inner layer to middle layer and outer layer. So we're going to go inwards to outwards. And the first layer is lifestyle. Second layer is in the moment learning. And third layer is right repetition. Now, what do all these mean? Well, I'm going to go into them one by one. First layer, lifestyle. Now, it might not be a proven fact, but there is a lot of research out there in the medical field saying if you exercise and if you eat right, you will actually be more focused and your brain will work more effectively to retain that information from short term to long term. Once I started working out daily, I started noticing I had a narrow, sharp focus. Now, lifestyle, it just depends. Whatever diet that works for you, whatever workout regimen you do, just make sure you're accountable and you keep up to date. Don't sit in bed and say, I'll do it tomorrow. You got to make it a habit, because if you don't do habits, these frameworks and these ideas and strategies just will not work. Now, am I perfect? No, there are days I enjoy myself on the weekends and break the habits, but I always jump back into it. It opens up a world of benefits outside of studying. So really, at the core, lifestyle just changes your whole life in a better way. Now, eating right and working out are 2 really important factors of lifestyle, but we're missing a third one. What is that? Sleep. Yes, sleep is extremely important to your lifestyle process of studying, because it is the biggest factor for your brain to refresh, recuperate, take everything you learn to retain. And then in the morning, you feel great because your brain has time to process all that information. When you're studying for so many hours in the day and you put all that information up there and you have a lack of sleep, your brain is just overpowered and that information is just going to go in and go right out. So make sure you get plenty of sleep, 6 to 8 hours or 8 to 10 hours. But no matter what, try to get as much as you can. So let's recap. The first layer of the 3 layers in this framework is lifestyle. That's the middle core layer that we have of the circle. And the 3 factors to think of is eating right, exercise, and sleep. Now we can go into the second layer of the framework, which is called in the moment. Why do I call it in the moment? This is when you're doing intense studying in different periods, or you're in class, or you're retaining information of a subject at a certain time. You're in the moment, and this is probably the time that you're spending the most retaining that information. Let's say you're in class. You're all focused in for that 45 minutes, hour and a half, sometimes 3-hour classes. That's a long time. Luckily, there are breaks. When you're in that time, you're putting a lot of energy into that moment. So when you're listening to the professor, you are wired in. And when you're wired in, that's when all this information soaks up. So what are some tips you can do during this time? You got to take good notes. Man, you wanted to get away from the note taking, didn't you? What I mean by good notes is write the notes, don't type the notes. You got to keep that in your mind. Write the notes, don't type the notes. Why? I mean, typing is so much faster and more convenient, and I could save it to the cloud and everything's right there. Some people taking notes on the computer works, but you're typing so fast, you're kind of just going along and you're not really focused. There's something to it when you put your pen or pencil to the paper, you're retaining what you're writing down. And when you're writing down your own notes, you actually write it down in ways that fit you. You might write down notes and say, that reminds me of song, Lady Gaga, A plus B equals C, haha. That's dumb, but you get the gist. You kind of set in your mind how you relate to the information that's being given to you, and writing down just processes better than typing on the computer. How long do I study for? Right after class, I go back to the notes to refresh real quick what we just learned, what notes I took, and I try to do 1 to 2 practice problems either from the book or from the notes that the professor has provided. And I do that because when you learn something new, you can't learn it perfectly and then go to the problems. You have to tackle the problems because that's how you learn. Your brain actually picks up a lot of information and you actually learn faster. Now, how long do I do it for? I used to do the cramming, it didn't work. Then I did 3-hour study sessions, take a break or an hour or two, and then 3 hours again. That didn't really work. Then when I was prepping for the GMAT, I started doing 45 minutes to an hour intense study sessions, and then taking a small break after that, around 10 to 30 minutes. But you have to work with what fits best with you. And with my mind, that kind of goes everywhere. If I can sit and really get a lot out of the information and do problems for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then take a break and do that 3 to 4 times a day, I would get more value out of that than spending a whole entire week spending 6 hours a day trying to learn this information. It is not efficient, and time is valuable. There's other things I have to do. Also in the world today, when you're working, you're gonna have to learn fast. You're gonna have to pick up things quick. And with these study habits, this can really help you do that. Now, the last layer is called the right repetition. What do I mean by right repetition? With your notes, it's always good to have a study sheet, or kind of, I don't know why we call it, but we call it like a cheat sheet, where you have a page or 2, or maybe it's 4 pages of all the notes you took, you review it, and then you condense it into your own mini frameworks or definitions or however you like it on this study/cheat sheet. And this way, when you get prepared for the test, you know exactly what the main topics were for that class. You know the main formulas, you know the main problems, and so when you tackle it, it is a lot easier. For example, like revenue, I would have revenue, the definition, then I would have 3 examples, and then I would recap what revenue is and how it goes into the next line item. And this is a way just to have patterns, repetition. Your brain is retaining all of that information, and it also can help you retain it longer. Another thing you could do is flashcards. And I know you've heard this a million times, flashcards, but it really does help. And sometimes when you review, just like doing problems when you know 50% of it, your brain can retain that faster than just rereading things over and over again. Don't feel like you have to read the book 5 times to think like, I really want to know it and I really want to beat the test, so I'm going to read it until I know it like the back of my hand. That's not what you should do. So if you use these 3 layers, I am sure you will have the best habits to studying. It may take a little bit of time to trying things out and seeing how it works in your own mindset and your own personality and the way you are. But if you take these 3 steps and alter it to your lifestyle, I promise you, you will break that study curse and you'll be better for it, and you'll be a better, happier person. In recap, remember the 3 layers. The inner layer is lifestyle, and that's where you eat right, exercise, and get good sleep. The second layer is in the moment learning. When you're doing those intense, short sessions, or you're in class and you break it out in times where you can really retain the information and not overload. Third layer and the outer layer to bring it all out is right repetition. If you use these 3 layers, you will be fine. And you will be the smartest person alive. You'll just be a better study person, I'll just say that. Anyways, hope you take away something useful from that framework of how to study. Please subscribe to the red subscribe button below. Like my videos, share my videos, comment below, ask what you want to learn, or if you have any questions, I'll talk to you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.